Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. It is Q&A Wednesday on the coffee run this morning, and I'm really pumped. I'm really excited to be here. Really excited that Friday is coming on up as well, and it's Wednesday, which means I have skating tonight. So yay! Before we get into all of that, what I wanted to talk with you about today is a question that I get asked all the time. And it's, how much should I spend on marketing? Good morning, Mike. So it's really important. Hi, Tamara. It's really important that you are super clear on what the options, I guess, are when it comes to marketing. So we've got digital marketing, you've got traditional, we've got the combination of all of those, plus we have social media. We've got all of these options that are available to you when it comes time for you to start marketing. And it's like, well, where am I going to put my budget? How am I going to be able to do this? So typically what happens, good morning, Ainsley. Typically what happens is we go, all right, well, I've got this pool of money. So how much do I allocate to each avenue, to each area? So there's a bit of a rule of thumb, and I was doing some research, I think, where did I find this? Can't remember where I found it. I was doing some research earlier this week for some articles that I'm writing. There was something there that said, whatever you want your turnover to be, your marketing budget should be about 10% of that. So if you want to make $100,000 in the next 12 months, then you would expect to invest $10,000 into marketing. If you want to make $50,000, then you'd need to be investing $5,000 into marketing. So we know, for example, that we want to make $100,000 or $50,000. So we know that we've got a $10,000 or a $5,000 budget that we need to invest over the year in order for that to come through. So how do you spend that 10 grand? Let's say that I gave you, said, hey, here guys, here's $10,000. Go spend that on your marketing. Most people just go like, I don't know how to break that up or work that out. So what we've got is we've got digital content, we've got traditional marketing. Do I spend money on video production? Do I advertise for leads? Do I hire an agency to do this, or do I do it all myself? Now, if you were to look at that, 10 grand doesn't actually go very far, particularly if you're splitting it out into the different sections. So let's say that you spent 20% on outsourcing, 20% on traditional marketing, 20% of the budget on lead gen, 20% on video production, and 20% on producing digital content. So the producing of the digital content is hiring a graphic designer, it's your time, it's all of that stuff, right? To me, I don't know that all of those things, so that would only be $2,000 on each of those things over a year. It's actually not very much money to go through all of those things, right? So the thing that I want you to be thinking about is, okay, where am I going to put that 10 grand? Now that works out to $192 a week. Okay, so $192 a week, where am I going to put that? Here's the big thing that I know for sure. If you're going to go and put it into video production and you don't have other things in place, then you are unlikely to see a faster return. If you're going to spend it on traditional marketing, you're unlikely to see a fast return. If you spend it on outsourcing, you're unlikely to see a fast return. So to me, where you've got this really great opportunity is to go, okay, how about we go and put that into advertising? How about we go and put that actually into generating leads? So what that would look like is, say, 96% of your money goes over into paid advertising, digital advertising, right? And then the rest of the money, the remaining 4% goes into maybe outsourcing, which you're not going to outsource someone for, that much money. The rest can go into video content creation. The rest can go into traditional media and that type of thing. So you can produce great content marketing without spending 1 red cent on anyone helping you. You can create excellent videos without having to hire a videographer. Now, I'm not saying that as a long-term solution that you don't want to look at that. It is certainly something, depending on your business, it is certainly something that you could take a look at. But if you're working on what's reasonably a micro budget, essentially a micro budget, then the thing is that it's like, well, you know, you don't need the high-end video. You can still create a great message. You can create a compelling message. You can create compelling marketing without spending $1 on anything, except for maybe Canva, which incidentally is free. So it just depends on how you want to create it. So the thing for me is that I know that for every $1 that I put into paid advertising, right? And I'm only paying for advertising if I'm going to generate a lead, which means someone's giving me a name and an email address in exchange for me giving away a free thing, right? Whether it be a webinar, whether it's a checklist, whether it's a download, whether it's a free chapter of my book that I've been talking about recently, whether it's a digital download of the content map. Anyone can have that. I don't care who accesses it. I know the stuff's great. Just all I ask in exchange is for your email address, name and email address. So if you're paying for advertising, you've got to be getting something in return for that, and that's a lead. Now, what happens then is that I know that for every $1 I spend, that I'm going to get at least $5 back, usually more like $8 or $10 back. So for every $10 I spend in Facebook, I expect to make $100. If I'm putting 10 grand into Facebook, I expect to get $100,000, right? So it's usually a good 10 times return on investment. I've got clients who are getting anywhere between 8 and 12 times ROI on every $1 that they put in. Now, that's a pretty freaking great return. So if you look at your marketing budget that you've got, your pool of money that you've got available to you, it's like, well, you go and put it into video, but if it's not actually going to show quickly an ROI, then you're unlikely to see that return. Hold that thought for 1 second. Got a delivery. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what that is. Oh, how exciting. Got a really loud bang on the door. Good morning, Gail. Hey, Beck. Hey, Kelly. Hey, say hi to everyone. Hey, Andrea. Kelly, I promise I'm not peeping in your house. Hey, Shirley. Hey, Judith. Hey, Ames. All right, great to see you guys. Okay, so the big thing here is that if you are on, even if you're a multi-million-dollar business owner or a CEO or someone who's in command of a large budget, you've got to make sure that what you're putting into marketing is going to get a return. So for most of the people that I work with, we don't have Coca-Cola budgets. We don't have Virgin budgets. We don't have Mercedes budgets even, right? We don't have the financial capacity to do brand awareness campaigns. Now, a brand awareness campaign is where you put money into getting up a beautiful big billboard so that everybody can see your face. It's where you might go and spend a bunch of money on video production and not actually generate a lead back for what it is that you're doing. It's where you might go and boost a post on Facebook. Looking at you guys, go and boost a post on Facebook to try and get more engagement or to try and get more views on your video, right? That there's no logical pathway for people to go, oh, look at that, and oh, here's some information of mine, and then they don't enter the relationship building process. Now, in order for you to do brand awareness, you're probably going to have to spend, I don't know, tens of thousands of dollars per year on trying to be recognized, and you've got no way of actually then quantifying a result or a return on investment off the back of that. Okay, it might be where you go and put the, a big full page spread in the newspaper, but all you're doing is, putting your fancy logo. Don't get me started on logos. Brand awareness doesn't, it works, but it is a really freaking slow process, and it takes a hell of a lot of capital that you've got to put in at the front end in order to be able to get a return and see your return come off the other side. So I'd much prefer for you to first of all take a look at, well, what's the 1+1 or the A, B, C steps that you can follow without going and doing that other stuff. This is also where PR is an excellent tool, and we're doing some PR. I'm paying a gentleman to do some PR for me and with me next year, which I'm really excited about, but I'm not relying on that to bring in clients. I am not relying on that to sell my books. I am not relying on that to sell my events, right? It's more of a complementary strategy where all of the other things that we're doing is stuff that's actually going to be generating a lead. So if you're operating on a micro budget, do not spend money on PR. If you're operating on a small budget, or even 20 grand a year for marketing, right? 20 grand a year, which again is really not much in the scheme of things when if you're doing the revenue, it's $385 a week. Right? You don't want to be spending that on PR. You don't want to be spending that on magazine spreads. You don't want to be spending that on brand awareness campaigns. You don't want to be spending that on boosting your Facebook posts to try and get more engagement. You don't want to try and spend that on Instagram to try and get more likes. You don't want to be spending it on LinkedIn to try and increase your connections, right? Spend it on the things that are going to generate a return. And usually the best way that you can do that is by investing into generating a lead. And then what happens from there? $1 million question, right? This is where my book Visible becomes really important, because if you're not sustaining the relationship building process after people have given you their name and email address, it's kind of like going into a bar and saying, hey, can I buy you a drink? And then running off to the other side and never talking to that person again. Why would you spend $10 on a drink for someone, unless you're doing one of those pay it forward things, but go and buy a drink for someone and then run the other way and go hang out with other people? Like, it makes no freaking sense. You may as well just go and throw $10 in the drain. It makes no sense at all. So what we need to do is then look at how you build relationships with people following that, because that's where the revenue comes in. This is where your Facebook posts, your Instagram stuff, your LinkedIn stuff, your Pinterest stuff, the Snapchat stuff, your blogs, your emails become so important, because we've got that person that's bought the drink. Now we need to make sure that we're kind of wooing them and helping them get to know us in all of those different areas as well. Okay, so that's where that becomes super, super critical and super important. So the big question around how much money do I spend on my marketing is, number one, nothing. Unless it is about, number one, refining a strategy that works in with your personalized plan for what it is that you want. That's actually the first thing, and I would spend money on that. The second thing that I would be spending money on is lead generation. Everything else you can do for free, or close to free. You don't need to outsource to a VA. You don't need to hire a graphic designer, not when we've got Canva. You don't need to do all of those other things, right? Yes, you've got to be on point. You've got to be on message. So get your strategy, get your plan worked first, get your strategy worked second, and then get out there and do the tactical implementation. But just be wary and aware of what it is that you're going to be spending your money on. And I guess the other rule of thumb there is I would be looking at making sure that you can see the pathway that you can get a good 5 times to 10 times return on investment for every dollar that you put into lead gen. All right. So that's that. Okay, so I think that's what I wanted to chat with you about today. If you've got any questions about that, let me know. We have got Visible Live coming up in May and then August next year. We've got half price tickets available at the moment using a promo code that I'll pop into the comments there. It'd be awesome to see you guys there. If you have any questions about that, message me, let me know. You can find some more information on my website. You can email me, reach out. You know, I'm an open book. I want to make sure that you guys have got this under your belt. I'm really tired of seeing people like you who are working hard. You're putting your blood, sweat, and tears into your businesses. You're trying to find the way to make things work. I'm really tired of seeing you guys being taken for a ride. So if I can shed some light onto that for you, then I'm super happy. So thanks everybody for hanging out. Tomorrow we have got How To Thursday, and I'm going to be talking about, instead of measuring engagement, what we're going to be measuring. So I'm excited to do that. On Friday, I will be, Friday we're celebrating. So Celebration Friday. So get your celebrations and your wins ready for me, because I can't wait to cheer you on, pat you on the back, and really just bring this week on home in a really positive, uplifted, and upbeat way. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Get out there and help some people. Get visible, and I will talk to you all tomorrow. Take care. Bye.